Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Server Room, the enterprise IT podcast of Manage Engine, where we explore how innovation, technology, and leadership are reshaping IT as we know it today. So, have you been following what is happening around cybersecurity lately? The most interesting factor is that the cybersecurity job description of a leader has been changing drastically. So, once upon a time, it was all about compliance guidelines, it's all about firewalls, VPN, networks. But today, it's more about AI driven threats, DevSecOps, and a lot of automated pipelines. It's not just about defense anymore, it's about designing security into the very DNA of digital transformation. So today we have Ahmad Abd-Allah, who is the CEO at TARQ Technologies and is also an AI and security consultant. So he's going to be helping us unpack this whole digital transformation, DevSecOps, and exactly what it means. So welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thanks for inviting me to the show.
How are you doing today?
Everything is fine. All good.
Okay. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Where you are from, what have you been doing in the past, let's say 10 years, your education, and a little bit more about your personal life.
Yeah, sure, definitely. So actually, I have graduated from Faculty of Engineering.
Okay.
My major was about electronics and telecommunications, but actually, this was not the main thing that I have been focusing on after graduation. So since college, I was more into software, into programming. So I started my career as early as possible. I started that during the college.
Okay.
Yeah, even before graduation, I started creating some apps, working as freelancer on some online freelancing websites with some of my friends. So yeah, since that time, I started working as a freelancer, software development.
So this is all in Egypt.
Yes, that's right. That's
Okay,
right. That's
okay.
right. But during that time, I was working with clients from outside Egypt,
Okay.
online
Okay.
remotely, and everywhere in the world. So that was a very good exposure at that time.
Right.
I started to deliver some training courses even before graduation.
Okay.
And then after I graduated, I continued doing exactly the same, working freelancing online and delivering training and consultations. And then things went from there. And one of the good things when you are working into the consultation and the training field is you are being forced to get updated with every new trend, every new technology, because
Right.
there is a new demand. People are hearing about a new thing, and you are the one that they trust. They want you to start learning that thing to teach it to them. So you
Exactly.
start
Yeah.
doing your experience, you start doing some labs around
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
so that you start working. So from that, I started working on building normal applications, desktop applications at that time. And then I
Okay.
moved to web applications, mobile applications, cloud applications. And from that, I started focusing on security and artificial intelligence.
Oh, so you've taken like the whole trend
Yeah,
of digital transformation
that's
completely
right.
into your career.
That's right. That's right.
That's great. That's great.
Yes.
And what exactly do you do today?
So today I'm working as an AI and application security consultant, creating architecture for different solutions on cloud, especially including AI products and large language models.
Okay.
In addition to assessing existing architectures and existing solutions from a security perspective and providing the penetration testing reports, vulnerability assessment reports. So providing this for the customers so they can enhance their security better and prevent any expected breaches in the
Oh,
future.
okay.
Yeah,
So, I mean, that's something that's coming up a lot.
that's right.
Threat detection, response, and these reports will
Yes,
definitely help in that.
that's right.
Perfect, perfect.
Absolutely.
So, what exactly is DevSecOps? It's
Yes.
quite an amalgamation of three words.
Yeah.
So, if you can just break that down for me as
Yeah.
well as for our viewers, I
Yeah,
think that'll be
definitely.
much very
Sure.
helpful. Yeah.
Sure. So DevSecOps, in order to understand it better, we need to get back a little bit to the DevOps. And before the DevOps, we had the normal SDLC. So we started by having what we call the traditional SDLC. And avoiding any technical terms, SDLC is it's a software development lifecycle, which is the way we are building the software. For long years, software development lifecycle used to take different shapes.
Yeah.
It started by something that we used to call a waterfall, where we are doing everything in series.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
we started doing it in an iterative manner instead of designing the whole project and then building the whole project. No, we design a small portion, develop that portion and get feedback, and then we iterate over that in more agile way. And during all these years, the software development lifecycle was being developed in a silo on its own.
Right.
Which
right.
means whatever we are doing during the development of the software is completely disconnected of what is happening after that.
That's true.
Yes, so once the product is being built, it is going to be handed over to the operation team, and that's it. The dev team knows nothing about what's happening on the operation, and the operation knows nothing about how the software has been actually developed. And then we have found that this is not the best way of doing it. We would like to integrate both together. We would like to get some feedback from the operations, because simply this is where the customers are. So the customers are using the software, and we can get lots of feedback from the operation side, which is going to be very helpful for the dev part.
Yeah.
So this is where we come up with the DevOps.
Yeah.
So we are merging development and the operation integrated together, because what we are developing, it is going to be applied to the ops, and what is being monitored by the operation team, it requires some feedback to be submitted back to the development so they can develop better in the next level.
Correct. Yeah.
Now we have wider and longer operation, because now it is not only the dev, it's the dev and the operations. We have lots of activities. And for years, among these activities, we had the security in certain parts, usually just before getting to the production, just before launching the product, we do the security check. And during that point, we found that we are going to discover lots of things, lots of issues that are going to be very difficult to be fixed, because these issues has been emerged from very early stage.
Right.
So we started thinking about this concept, which we call shift left.
Shift left.
Shift left, yes.
Okay.
And instead of starting with security at the testing before the deployment, we have already left lots of layers, lots of stages.
Right.
The design, the implementation, the coding, all these points, they might be an entry point for security issue.
Yeah.
Why we shouldn't detect it there? Why should we wait until it is the testing? And in most of time, it is too late.
Correct.
Fixing it is going to delay the whole project, and in most of time, because of the business pressure and the market pressure, we do not have this luxury. So what happens is, most of companies, they take the decision, okay, let's launch it as is with the known vulnerability, with the known security issue, on a promise that's going to be fixed later, but later never comes, so it is going to be there. And this is where SEC came in the middle between the dev and the ops. So security, or adding security to the DevOps, it is about embedding, it's about building in security in all the stages. Because in each stage in the software development lifecycle, we are building something. Even if it is not a software, it's going to be a document. It's going to be a chart. It's going to be an architecture. So every single output of every single stage need to be assessed from security operation. So we can say that the summary of DevSecOps is, we are developing a product, we are integrating the feedback coming from the operations, and the security is going to be built on all the stages of the dev and the feedback loop of the ops. This is basically what do we mean by DevSecOps.
Yeah, I love that explanation. I can actually relate to it because I have been a developer.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah,
That's
so
great.
it also depends a lot about how people code. Like every person has their own individual way of coding.
Right.
So it's much easier for security to come in
Yes.
when you actually use like smaller blocks of code.
That's right.
Rather than having this whole file of
The whole
just
thing.
code being in your product.
That's right.
And then, figuring out where exactly you need to actually put in your security aspect.
Yes, 100%.
So that's actually helpful a lot for all the three teams, so development, security, and operations.
That's right.
Perfect.
We can, so developers are writing code today, and this code has some security issues. It needs to be found today and fix it today. It's
Exactly.
easier for everyone.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, what's the first mindset that leaders need to have if they want to implement DevSecOps into their team?
Okay, very well. So DevSecOps is where you are putting some investment because you are bringing in some. I would start by the mindset and the culture adoption first because this is more important than the tools. So you are putting some effort to change the mindset, to adapt the culture, to accept these new practices because right now you are trying to convince everyone that there is some kind of activity that used to be done only one time along the route at the testing part, and now you are trying to convince them that this is going to be done every time. As you are progressing with every stage, you need to introduce some kind of security,
Yeah.
which is going to look in the beginning as an overhead. So the first thing that they need to understand and the first thing they need to spread across their organization is that how costly the traditional way is.
Okay.
How costly it is to find a vulnerability after a couple of weeks of the development just before the launching, and we are in the threat of delaying the launching or launching the product with the security threat in it or the security vulnerability in it. So starting from that point, they start embracing the idea that we need to change. This is something that we cannot do. So they need first to highlight the issue of the current or the traditional way of doing it, which is detecting the vulnerability when it is just before the launching, making sure that everyone understand that we don't want this because this is too late. It is costing us a lot, and it has been proven since the lean guide developed by Toyota decades ago. They have proven that detecting the defect late in the production stage, it's highly in the cost more than detecting it in the early in the stage. So
Okay.
adjusting this mindset is the starting point. From that on, everyone is going to accept. So the developer is going to feel okay, is going to welcome the security scanning during the development phase. They will be fine with that. They want actually the security experts or the security reviewer or even running the automated security scanning code along because he wants to understand that this tool is there to help him,
Right.
not to make just an overhead. So the mindset is going to be the very first thing that needs to be adopted. And I have seen in lots of cases when the leadership starts by implementing the tools without changing the mindset, actually they might be ending at a worse position.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it actually makes sense because what you mentioned just now about you getting a metric, so in your case, you said cost,
Yeah.
you realizing early on is much easier for everybody in the team
That's right, that's
rather
right.
than just yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
I think that's true for anything in life.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, the earlier you realize, the earlier you adopt, the
100%.
better it is for the future.
100%.
Yeah. So in your career of how many years?
15.
15 years. So
Yeah.
you would have worked with a lot of companies.
That's right.
And you would have seen different failures, successes for companies,
Yes.
kind of implementing this.
That's right.
So, what is something that you can remember that'll probably help our audience? It could be like a story that you still remember after working with them for so many years. So, you can just tell me about that. Like,
Yeah.
what is the failure or the success that you've seen?
Sure. So, yeah, I have seen in most of cases, the success is always attached to belief and honesty. So, whenever someone in an organization and he believes that this technology is going to be helpful and he is honest about bringing this technology to the organization to actually make the product that they are building to the customer better. And this is something that we might be relate to, or we think that all the organizations should be having this, but actually it is not true. It's very rare percentage of of organizations that actually are keen on building something with high quality, something that actually can benefit the customers, and in the same time making the working environment healthy and growth environment for their teams. I believe that, and this is what I have seen, whenever we have this mindset in the management or the leadership level, there is always success.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
and the customers actually, because I believe this, the mix of being a believer and being honest, it's a mix that the team will be actually able to capture very quickly and very easily.
Right.
So whenever the team inside the organization understand that their leadership are believing in them and believing in this technology, and they are honest about having this technology to build a better product and to make the team actually grow, to make the team better. Once the mix is there, it's very easy to convince the team to change their mindset and start adopting new things. Actually, this is what makes them open to learn. And on the other hand, if the management is not that keen about the team and not keen about the customer, these vibes actually are going to be very quickly captured, even if it is not said by words. It's going to be delivered, it's going to be very easily captured by the team, and that is going to reflect on the team because the team is mirroring what the management is doing.
Yeah.
If the management are honest and believers, the team are going to believe in what they are building and they are going to be honest with themselves. If the management is producing these vibes of just let's make some money, let's put the most pressure that we can put on the teams, let's just apply something just to be compliant and we do not care about the actual value, the teams are going to mirror that. And the teams are going to work with this perspective that, okay, you want to implement this tool, you want to implement DevSecOps. To say that I'm implementing DevSecOps, okay, I'm going to install the tool, which is going to bring no value, just to say that I have installed the tool. So we are reflecting to each other, we are mirroring each other. So I believe that being a believer and being honest is the success factor.
Yeah. What you mentioned is true. It's more of a top-down approach
Yeah,
that people or the management should implement.
that's right.
Actually, I was talking to someone from one of our previous episodes. So I asked him this, like, is it more of a top-down approach because of culture, philosophy coming from the management, or is it like bottom-up as well? So he mentioned that it's a combination of both.
Yes,
So you need to be curious enough to do better,
that's right.
and you also need to get the support from the top. Because
Exactly,
if the
100%.
support isn't coming, then you're not going to put in the effort.
Yes, 100%, 100%,
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. So he mentioned that, and I can actually relate to what you're saying
Yes,
because
yes,
I
that's
think
right.
everybody can, because at one point they will be at the bottom, and at one point they will obviously grow up to become the leader.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And I think this is something like it's natural, like what happens actually in our bodies. So even in our body, if there is a healthy body, the overall body is healthy, and there are some bad cells. Actually, the healthy cells are going to eat out and throw
That's
them
true.
out. Yeah, and the opposite is correct as well. So if you are having this good top to bottom approach, and you have this lack of collaboration from the bottom up, so they are not doing the same thing, after a while you will find that these elements who are not that helpful are going to leave the organization.
Yeah.
And the opposite is right. If the management is not helping and you have very good candidates at the bottom level, most of time they will be leaving the organization to other better organizations. So the whole world is going through this nice harmony. Yeah.
They're actually going through a digital transformation.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly. Spot
Perfect,
on.
perfect. So, what are some of the tools or softwares that teams or leaders generally like overlook when trying to implement DevSecOps?
Okay, very well. So when we are talking about DevSecOps, most of time, most of companies and most of leaders, they just got dragged and got attached to the details. So whenever we are talking about DevSecOps, you will find that most of people are just summarizing everything to automated scanners, because DevOps is about automation and integration and security. So we need to have some automated scanners every time we are building a new version of the product. We fire a bunch of scanners, and these automated scanners are going to collect some data, collect some vulnerabilities about the product, and then publish the report. And Here we are just scratching the surface because they start focusing on let's implement these automated scanners to generate the automated reports, and that's it. And this is where I usually quote, now what? Now we have the reports, now what? We need to expand that and start adding this methodology of what is going to happen after we have these reports. We need to have a methodology, we need to have a playbook, how we are going to categorize these vulnerabilities, how we are going to fix these vulnerabilities, how we are going to merge all these reports in a centralized repo so that we have a centralized or a common vision about the security posture of the whole organization. We have multiple products out there, so we need to understand, we need to have this centralized dashboard. In most of cases, I see that this part of the process is actually overlooked.
Okay.
We would like to implement DevSecOps, so we just scratch the service, add some automated scanners, and that where we start celebrating early and say that now we have DevSecOps, which is not true. So what I see that most of teams are actually missing is the complete vision. So we need to remember that the first thing, the first motivation about implementing DevSecOps is to build better products fast. So we are building the products fast in the CI/CD and the DevOps. We are building it and releasing quickly and frequently, but we don't want to build only the right product. We need to build the right product right. So having this overall centralized vision is what's actually missing. This can be done by multiple of tools, but as I mentioned in the beginning, having that mindset and making it very clear that we are building this not for the sake of generating some reports, but for the sake of building a better product.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Perfect. So a lot of companies also use legacy software.
Yeah.
So how does implementing DevSecOps like come into that? Because they should also like not let it affect the business continuity,
Yeah, sure.
but they also need to build better products.
Yeah,
So,
that's right. That's
yeah,
right. Yeah,
how will
that's
they
right. Yeah.
go through this?
That's right. Actually, this is doing that is starting from having the idea that DevSecOps or implementing DevSecOps, it's not a project, it's a transformation journey. So it is not certain set of steps that we are going to do. We are going to install these tools and we are going to generate this kind of reports and that's it. It's actually an ongoing process. So, and I usually use the word better because better is where you are embedding the mindset of doing today better than yesterday and tomorrow better than today. So it's an ongoing enhancement and improvement cycle. If I have a legacy system, I need to apply the same definition. How can I make the security around this product better? So it's going to be better maybe in the beginning by enhancing the way I'm looking at this product from a security perspective. So getting better visibility about the components, the underlying packages inside this product, having continuous monitoring on the traffic in and out to this legacy system. Once I'm done with this stage, I'm going to another better cycle where I'm going to start breaking down this legacy system into different parts. So I'm going to move away, not the whole product, because as you have mentioned, we need to maintain the business continuity. So we start breaking it down to components and we start isolating these components, implementing the security and replacing these components with other modern tools. So yeah, it's an ongoing journey that needs to be flexible and needs to have this acceptance of an ongoing improvement.
Right, right. So as you mentioned about metrics.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's this common saying that you can't improve anything that you don't measure.
That's right.
So I think that comes into IT a lot.
Sure.
I see that a lot. And even what you mentioned is the same.
Yeah.
So how is like what kind of metrics should you have?
Yeah, sure. This is a very good question. Actually, we have different metrics, and I believe that all the metrics that we are taking a decision upon, they need to have two different sides. So I need to define a metric in a technical perspective that should reflect in the business as well. So one of the very important metrics are the vulnerabilities among the code. So how many lines of code do we have and how many vulnerabilities have been discovered?
Okay.
Yeah. So the number of vulnerabilities per code lines, the number of vulnerabilities per number of commits that we are having or adding
Right.
to the cycle. This is very important. And having that or comparing what is happening before adopting the DevSecOps practices and after, we can measure that improvement, because before DevSecOps, we are doing some security tests, but we are doing these security tests towards the end of the cycle.
Right.
So comparing the same point, what we have been doing. So for example, on average, we are having 100 vulnerability per commit or per sprint. And that used to happen before DevSecOps. After the DevSecOps, we should have a very lower number because we are keeping discovering along the path before
right.
we reach to that point. This is one of the matrices. Another thing is the cost per defect.
Cost per
Cost per defect.
defect.
Yes.
Okay.
So now we have discovered the vulnerability. How much time and effort needs to be invested in order to fix that? And this is very proportional to the time where you are finding this vulnerability. So if you are finding the vulnerability or discovering it while the developer is writing the code or just after committing, the fix time is going to be very low and the cost is going to be lower. As you go towards the production is going to be higher, and that includes having a vulnerability that was not discovered by our teams, it was discovered by an attacker. Because in that case, the cost of this vulnerability is going to be the cost of the breach. We are going to look at the impact on the business, the data has been stolen about our customers, any fines that we are going to pay. So it's going to be something like comparing a couple of dollars to millions of dollars. So this is how efficient is it by in discovering the vulnerability as early as possible among the cycle.
Right, right.
Yeah.
So this actually, whatever you mentioned, the metrics that you mentioned, cost per defect as well as the number of
Vulnerabilities.
per code, right?
Yes,
per
that's
line
right.
of code.
Per code.
So this actually improves the security posture.
Sure.
But what are some things that actually improve the compliance side?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's a very good question.
Yeah.
Actually, when it comes to the compliance, you will find that most of the compliance or the regulations, they are actually looking at the business impact in most of cases. And this is why I say that it's very important whenever we are looking at some technical metric, it should be reflecting on the business side as well.
Right.
So we would like to translate all these matrices from the technical perspective to the business perspective as per the customer impact and the business impact, which is in terms of money. And this is where we have the mindset of converting the effort and the time that's being spent by the developers or the technical team to the business impact, which is going to be finally cost.
Right.
And yeah, having the cost, actually, I think that having the cost or calculating everything in terms of money, it might not be the most appealing metric to everyone, because this is giving the money this bigger value than it is. But from my perspective, I can say that it is just a unified scale. Because I would like to see what is going to be more costly, having or putting this improvement in the development life cycle rather than paying later on the fines or the impact that's going to be because we have certain vulnerability or because we are not compliant, so we are having some limitations to work in the market.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Perfect. So, okay. Is there like a point where too much automation can affect the business?
Oh,
Like,
yes.
is it too much information can actually be bad for someone or a
Yeah.
company?
Sure. Yeah, I think automation becomes a harmful thing when we start adopting the mindset that we are automating for the sake of automation. So automation is a solution. Automation is a great solution. and that solution needs to be associated with the problem. So identifying the problem first, and this is what I always say when we have similar training or similar consultation. I always say that do not jump to the conclusion, do not jump to the solution. We very easily fall in love with the solution, but actually we need to fall in love with the problem, not the solution. Because falling in love with the solution is going to make us take some decisions, and we start committing to these decisions, and we would like them to be successful, even if they are not with that high impact on the problem.
It's like the quote where if you have a hammer, everything
Exactly.
looks like a
A
nail.
nail. That's
Yeah.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yes, that's absolutely right. So do not fall in love with the solution. Do not fall in love with automation. Automation is very good as a solution to a certain problem. Falling in love with the problem and trying to fully understand the problem is the only way to automate as the good level. Not over automate and not under automate. If you are over automating, you will be ending up by finding that your team, and this is actually one of the threats that I see in AI or in the reliance of AI, which is it is going to disconnect your team from what they are building. So you need to make sure that you have, and you need to be very clear on that, what are the main things that are being done by human, and there is a good reason that needs to be done by a human. Yes, everything now, and I mean everything, every human action, every human activity, it can be automated using traditional automation solutions or using large language models. But sometimes if you are automating everything, you are losing your vision.
Yeah.
Because I would like to decide to make a decision and then let the tools execute it. But the scary part right now is people can automate taking the decision.
Yeah.
So if you are automating taking the decision, this is actually, it is very harmful because it is removing your fingerprint from that. You are not doing that. So it became something that you are disconnected to.
Yeah.
This is from a vision or human perspective. From technical perspective, this is something that it is going to be very difficult to debug and to check what's happening inside.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. So
Yeah.
we mentioned about AI coming into the picture.
Yeah, that's right.
So LLMs actually writing code for people. So based on all of this, how do you see DevSecOps actually evolving?
Oh, that's good. So if we are talking about DevSecOps, we are considering the automation and building security and making security that has been enabled on all the chain, on all the steps. And I can see that AI is a main player in this area. So AI is going to be very helpful as long as I mentioned, it's going to be used as a solution.
Yeah.
Without falling in love with AI,
Yeah.
without implementing AI just for the sake of implementing AI, because I think this is the biggest sin of the current year and the next
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
The biggest sin is going to be implementing AI just for the sake of AI. AI is going to be a solution, but we need to identify exactly where AI should kick in, not AI everything, because that is going to end up, and lots of companies has seen this currently, that they are paying to AI solutions and fixing what went wrong by AI through hiring human developers more than the salaries that the developers would have actually already been paid. So yeah, relying on AI is going to be, it is very helpful. It's super helpful. And I believe that the most important skill that we might have right now is identifying where and where not to use AI.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Actually,
Yeah.
what you mentioned is very true. Even I have seen that. Like, you want your work to be done faster,
Sure.
but by just implementing AI somewhere, you're actually delaying it.
That's right. That's right. But and you want it to be your work still.
Yeah.
Still,
Yeah.
because you can just say that you can attach an AI tool to your email and say that pretend that you are me and do the work instead
Yeah.
of me.
Yeah.
That's right. And it's going to do it, but it's not your work anymore.
Yeah.
Now the AI is working, it's taking the decision. So it's very important to understand, to identify what actually you would like to offload to the AI.
Yeah.
You need to keep something that you are working on. And I always say that you need to define or you need to put the AI in a certain role as an assistant, not as a decision maker. Even if you are using AI to learn about something that you do not know, you can ask AI questions so you know what you do not know, and then you take the decision. Later on, you can ask AI, other AI tool to execute it for you,
Yeah.
but you need to be in the driver's seat.
Yeah, yeah. I think humans right now should be the decision makers, and
That's right.
the decisions should not be left to LLMs or any model out there.
That's right.
Yeah, because I don't think ever that's going to happen,
That's right.
but I don't know the future. So,
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And
yeah.
I believe people are, because we like sitting into a comfy spot.
Yeah.
So I believe that we will be giving an AI the room to make decisions, and then we will find that actually we are suffering more. So we have to get off this comfy chair and get back to fix what AI
Yeah,
has
yeah.
done, and we will prevent it from
Yeah,
happening
I
again.
remember.
Yeah, AI is great in automating things, in executing things, in supporting the decision. But when it comes to actually making the decision, especially when we are talking about new decisions, not something that you make a decision every day. So I can, for example, take a decision based on formula, which is, So for example, I will be checking my weight every morning, and if it is less than this, I'm ordering pasta today. So this is a simple decision. I can just let the AI tool make the order for me based on the information that knows. But collecting lots of information and analyzing what is happening, I can keep AI next to me, helping me analyze and brainstorming. But what makes us human, and this is what will never be taken off the
Yeah.
humanity, is the intention.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the intention is what actually we need to keep. Yeah.
That's true. Plus, I feel getting AI into your organization, or let's say helping you support decisions that you make, I feel the model should have a lot of context on what the organization really is, what it stands for.
Right.
But I don't think that can be given to a model to, get trained on. That will
Yes.
come just through experience, you as a human being part of the organization.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right. That's right.
yeah.
And I think that if you would like to put AI in that position where it is actually monitoring and automating and operating the organization, the information that you would like to fed into the AI model, it is more than the information that anyone in the organization have. So it's a combination of everything that everyone knows. In addition to, this information is not well structured right now. So you have some people in different departments, and they know how they are running their departments by their own gut, by their own previous experience. But once you start asking them to well structure the things that they are doing, they will never be able to, even if they wanted to, they will never be able to dump everything in their mind and their thinking mechanism and their algorithms of taking the decision just to be well structured to be fed into an AI model.
That's true.
Yeah, so this, and even if we could do that, from my perspective, that's going to take a certain amount of time, which is long enough to make this information that we are collecting invalid. Because during this 6 month or 1 year of this project, the information, now we have new information. So what we are being collecting is going to be invalid.
Yeah, yeah. Plus, I feel as a human being, you work on details, right? And something that might seem very insignificant to you because you're like, yeah, okay, that's probably
Yeah.
just normal. You would not feed that into your model.
That's right.
And just because of that one part or one detail, the model not having access to, they make different decisions. And just that one detail could change your whole decision.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You are looking at it from a different perspective. And I always say that, for example, you can give an AI model or a tool, you can give it a prompt to create an image of a podcast studio, like what we are in here. But it is not going to be exactly what you are thinking in your mind, because what you have in your mind is this picture which is an endless number of details.
Yeah.
And while you are create this image of a podcast studio, you just gave one piece of details or
That's true.
two pieces. What is going to happen about the other 10,000 pieces of details?
Yeah.
It's going to assume them.
That's true.
And yes, and if you try to feed every single detail to the model, and some people would challenge me and say that, okay, I'm going to put every single detail into the model. And I would be saying that if you are doing this, creating it yourself without the AI is going to be easier.
Easier, yeah.
Yes, because it will take more time to feed everything to
Yeah.
the model. So it is the efficiency of the model is how we can make use of its built-in knowledge so that it can take good decisions without we tell them.
Yeah.
If you're going to tell it everything, it's going to be better to do it yourself. Do not rely on AI. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. So, talking about AI and let's say machine written code, do you
Okay.
think AI is at a position where they can actually write secure code?
It's a very good question, actually. And lots of people actually confuse this part because now if I ask it a certain model some questions about security, so I'm going to ask the model, please let me know what are the most common security vulnerabilities in this type of application. And the model is going to surprise you with full detailed information about the vulnerabilities. It's going to tell you everything.
Yeah.
Now, your second question is going to be create a login form from that type, and you will find that all the vulnerabilities that you has been warned about, it's inside this code.
Yeah.
It's very important to understand that whenever you are targeting large language model, it is being targeted with one objective. So you are identifying certain context, certain scope, so that the model is going to act in that context. So if you are asking the model to generate machine learning code, make sure that it is going to generate some code that is going to work. So now he's simulating a developer. And once you are saying that you are a developer, so he's going to behave as a developer. And the large language model has been trained on lots of data and lots of code where developers are writing vulnerable code. As a developer, he will be writing vulnerable code by default. So one of the things that we need to pay attention to is whenever we are looking at a model and we know that some model is very aware about security, and I'm asking it to write code, it is not going to apply these security rules to the code by default. So I need either to ask it explicitly while I'm asking for the code to be generated that it should be scanned, or you are an experienced developer with security experience, so it's going to write better code, or even better, and this is what I always recommend, do not let your large language model play multiple roles. So let it generate the code and then let it play the role of the security code reviewer. So it is going to review its own code and it's going to tell you that, oh, this code is very bad. Who wrote that? And you can say, you have just written that. Please, so please start listing all the issues because we need to fix them. And then you are getting back to be a developer, start fixing that. And some people would say that, okay, this is something that we can automate. I can write a script that's going to approach the model to generate the code and then approach the model one more time to scan it and then approach the model to fix it. That's right. But now we might be putting the AI and the automation in the driver's seat. And if you're putting AI and automation in the driver's seat, just blame yourself where you are going to end. You are not going to know where you will be ending by the car.
Yeah. So you mentioned about different roles that the LLM can play for you, right? So I'm sure this applies to even attack and defense.
Sure.
So do you think that it's a time of AI versus AI cyber attacks?
It is happening right now. We can say that it's happening right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and because actually when, as part of the human nature, whenever we are finding a piece of metal, we will be thinking about creating a sword before creating something useful, right? If I have any tool, I will think how I can use it either for offensive or defensive, even before thinking how it's going to be done or used in other perspective. So yeah, right now we can see lots of attacks that are being supercharged with AI. So automation was there for years. Automated attacks is there. But the point of automated attacks is the attackers are launching hundreds of bots, thousands of bots that are going to scan different hosts. And once they start finding something interesting, this is where they are going to trigger the human attackers so they can take it over right now. And that always, whenever you come to invite human in the loop, this is where you are killing scalability.
Yeah.
So I have 5 penetration testers, 5 attackers. These 5 attackers can respond to the reports that I have from 1,000 pod, for example. Now you are shifting the attackers one more step back. So in the pyramid, you can launch, instead of 1,000 pods, you can launch 10,000 pods. And these 10,000 pods are going to work based on normal automation. They are going to do the scan, collect the information, and then instead of notifying the actual attackers, they are going to notify attacking agents. So the attacking agents are going to analyze the data and come up with the attack scenarios that are going to be applied on the hosts. At the last stage, where everything is found, the actual machine is vulnerable or it has been already compromised, this is where we start triggering the actual attackers to take over, which is giving the attackers right now, if we have an attacking team of 5, this attacking team used to attack, for example, 10 organizations, 15 organizations at the same time. Now, with the help of AI, they can attack 500 organizations per day. So it is scaling up this way. On the other hand, this is going to increase significantly the amount of threats or the amount of alerts that are being fired on the organization side, and analyzing them manually but one by one. It is giving huge advantage to the attackers because the attackers are not attacking by themselves. So they are letting the bots and the AI agents attack. Now I need to have an army of AI agents to analyze these reports so that I'm still in balance, or I still have the advantage over the attackers.
Yeah. So, according to me, I'm not sure if I'm right, but according to me, in the past, there have been a lot of attacks. So, because of that, data is definitely there.
Yes.
But defense, I'm not sure if there's a lot of data. Is it?
Okay. I agree on that, that the data available at the attacking side might be more than the data available on the organization side. But what makes it a little bit balanced is on the organization sides, organizations are usually open to share this data among the community. And this is, for example, where the role of OWASP kicks in, which is OWASP is building their guides and their top 10 lists of the risks based on the surveys. So we are sending out surveys. So as an organization, if I have been under 10 attacks during the previous year and I have collected this amount of data. On the other hand, the attackers have been attacking thousands of organizations, so they have even more data. But as an organization, I'm sharing this data about 10 breaches with other organizations, and we are collectively gathering all our efforts so we have a common knowledge base, which is going to be very helpful against this huge amount of data collected by attackers.
Right. So, you think it is equal? The
I
data
think
that's available.
it is never equal.
Okay.
It is like it's like
49.50.
this. Yes, this is this game. They are increasing. We are increasing, and yeah.
Okay. All right. So, some analysts say that the breach time has actually reduced down to 60%. So, do you think this will hold in the future, or do you think this will have like some sort of change?
Okay, so I think it is right now we are in a very highly transient time. So the advancement at one side might be very quickly on the other compared with the other side. So when we are, for example, once we could see the launching of the models, the dedicated attacking models during that time, we had huge amount of attacks and huge amount of breaches that we didn't see before, because now we have a huge advancement. There is a spike on the attacker sides, so they are using it for their advance. On the other hand, once we start including the AI into the SOC analyst teams, we find that this amount or this spike is actually being very reduced very
Okay.
much.
Okay.
So what I believe is we are in a transient stage, and after this transient stage is over, we will be getting back to something like what we have been seeing before, the same
Okay. Okay.
normal percentages. Because right now, each part is trying to utilize the tools, but it is not hitting the plateau. So they are
Fluctuating a
spiking.
lot.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay. Got it. So, a lot of models, like, I mean, all of them, they don't have any constrictions or, let's say, restraints on cross border,
Yeah.
right? So, how does data residency, key custody, all of this come into the picture when you have models almost in every organization?
Ah, yes. Actually, we have two things here, because some of the really good models can be completely hosted on-prem locally within the organization, within certain borders, and this is answering all these questions. So it is well defined. Now we have it in here. Other models are cross-border. Other models can be like having or sharing the data with other servers and among different data centers across the whole globe. So I think that for all the organizations, they need to have this kind of balance. Some organizations would say that, okay, we are putting everything on cloud-based large language models. All the data are being processed by this AI, and in that point of time, they will have huge limitation, because I cannot move certain any kind of my sensitive information. It cannot be processed, and this is what companies and most organizations are suffering from right now. They are either completely prohibiting the use of AI inside their organization, or they are just keeping it as the scratch. It is an open chatting window for their employees to just chat with the AI model in a monitored environment, because they cannot use this AI, the cross-border AI, to analyze their sensitive information, while they have the ability to implement some local models that can be actually completely hosted in their organization, and from that they can better utilize the model. So I believe that whenever we are having this sensitive information, the key custody, some proprietary information, this is something that can be used and processed by AI. We can utilize the power of AI dealing with this tools, but that is bringing the local models to to
Right.
the vision.
Right.
On the other hand, if the data is not that sensitive, we can share it, so we can go to the cloud-based, the cross-border models.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Makes sense. It's like some of the organizations that you mentioned, they use it just on the surface level. So it's
That's
like
right.
AI, check.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. AI for the sake of AI.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
that's true.
Yeah.
Perfect. So, we've actually spent decades like securing data, but
Yeah.
now that AI models come into the picture, we have to secure context,
Yes.
intent,
Yeah.
as you mentioned, and sometimes even like bias.
That's right.
So, how does all of this play into, let's say, teams that want to, do better or want to get deeper into the AI model surface?
Yeah, okay, perfect. So when we are talking about AI model, we need to understand that the AI model is going to reflect on the way it has been trained. So it's very important to understand whenever we are having a model, what is the background of this model? So I believe that something like, and it might sound funny, but if we would like to implement an AI solution or onboard a large language model inside the organization, we need to have some kind of an interview for this model. Because it looks like you are onboarding a new brain, right?
Right.
This brain is going to have an access to your data. It's going to analyze your files. It's going to process some of your users' inputs, and it's going to respond to that as well. So it is like an agent. It's like an employee. So you need to interview him. You're not going to ask him how he sees himself in 5 years, but you need actually to make sure of its background, where it is coming from, what
Okay.
kind of data has been used for training this model.
Okay.
So this is something that you can identify. Most of the large language model platforms right now, they are providing something that we call a model card. So the model card, it's like the model CV.
Ah, okay. I
Yes.
didn't know about that.
Yeah, that's right. And most of time people know about model card, but they are not actually relating why this is important. Yes, this is the CV of the model. How this model has been built, what's internal structure, what is the data that he went through. So this is actually the background. It is basically like like when you are asking an employee, what's your experience? Where did you graduate from? Where are you getting your data? Where have you been working before? So identifying the data has been used for training this model is very important, and making sure that there is no bias, making sure that the data was clean, and in some significant use cases, you might start thinking about building your own model, or at least fine-tuning the model. So you might be starting with foundation model, which looks like high school grad. So yeah, so it is, they just know how to communicate. They understand the language and they can respond, but they don't have enough knowledge. And then you are just putting
Feeding
them
them data,
into
yeah.
an onboarded intensive training program. So you make sure that you are teaching them exactly what you need them to know. So you get rid of any previous bias, and you know that they are going to respond and to reflect on your data, not on a previous experience that might be useful or not.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, thank
Now
you.
that I look at it through,
A different perspective for the model.
yeah,
That's right.
yeah. So we also talked about this, right? The earlier you figure out where something went wrong, the
Yeah.
faster it is to rectify it.
100%.
So I think this also really comes into the picture here,
That's
where
right.
if you just have a basic model, you can fine tune it a lot
That's
to your
right.
requirement.
100%.
Yeah. Okay. I think I will use this.
Yeah, you can pick the foundation model and start
Yeah.
teaching them what you want. So yeah,
Great,
it's
great.
going to respond better.
So now looking ahead,
Yeah.
where do you see the single biggest trust gap that organizations will have, like let's say in the next 5 to 10 years?
Actually, I think so. From inside the organization, I believe that we are moving away from what is actually happening on the technology side, what is happening inside, what's happening internally. So having this, or making sure that, so if we would like to reflect this, for example, on what has been occurring a couple of years back or a couple of decades back, once we started relying on PCs, so now we have lots of points, lots of data entry or data collection points. So now I have every employee inside the organization, they have their own PC, their own laptop, their own mobile phone. So now the very important question is, would these devices or the software running on these devices, what kind of information that's being collecting and it is sharing outside the organization in a way that we trust or we do not trust? If you are expanding the same line and now you are including large language models and you are including agents, now the thing is going to be more concerning, because now you are not adding to your landscape only new apps or new software. Now you are adding agents that they can think and they can decide. And now these agents, they are in between you and your data, which is sounds to be, I know that it might sound to be a little bit scary. Yes, and it is. We should be. Yeah, so if you feel that is scary, it is. Because if we cannot identify what is exactly happening inside these agents and how they have been built and what is inside the large language models, we are looking like hiring external teams and giving them an access to our data and our infrastructures, and we are just asking them what we need, and they are somehow doing it, and they are coming up with the result for us.
It's like a black box.
Exactly, that's right, a black box with huge amount of details. So it's not only a black box with couple of components, it's a black box of thousands of components and thousands of communication links. So making sure that we are capable of identifying what's actually happening on the wires is very important. So this should be something that we do not provide the trust as granted for. This is something that where we need to examine the trust on the organization level, inside the organization level, and the same thing extends in the relationship between the customers and the organization as well. Right. Because right now I used to provide some data and some information about myself and my operations to a certain organization, and I need to trust what this organization is doing with my data. Right now there is a new player who might be doing something with the data that neither me nor the organization know about. So having this visibility on the end-to-end communication or the end-to-end channel is very important.
Right. So you need to be very technically aware of what exactly is happening.
Exactly, 100%.
Perfect. And that's why this episode.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Perfect. It was lovely talking to you.
It's a pleasure.
And
thank you.
it's a conversation that I took away a lot from.
Thanks.
Starting from the model that you told me about, the
okay.
foundation model,
The
and then
CV.
building on top of it.
Okay.
Yes, and I will interview models from now on.
Okay. So now I'm losing my chair to an AI. Okay.
No, that's not going to happen.
Okay.
That's
okay.
not going to
Thank
happen.
you. Yeah.
Perfect. So, let me know what you think of the episode, and it was great having you.
Yeah, it was a pleasure, and thank you so much for the questions, and thanks for giving me the opportunity to actually uncover and demystify some of the very important and very common buzzwords right now, like DevSecOps, the AI security, where and when we should be scared, when we should and we can be trusting this technology. So thank you so much for this opportunity. It has been a pleasure. Thank you.
This is actually the first time we've had an episode about the amalgamation of all of this and the confluence of all of these topics and buzzwords. We've had them individually, but this was actually a very new perspective for me as well.
For to combine everything in one place.
And plus, I was a developer, so I could understand what you were talking about.
Perfect.
So, it was great. It was really great. Any last words that you would have to give probably, the viewers out there, what they should look out for?
Yeah. Sure. Okay, so one last thing I would like to share is whenever we are talking about AI and we are talking about security, this is something that it is not happening in the future, it's happening now. It is something that we should not be doubting. It is happening and it will continue to happen. So it is not the time for doubting, it's not the time for questioning, it is not the time for resisting, even if we see bad things or if we are scared of some aspects of this new technology. It is the time of learning more about them so that we can utilize them in the way that they are going to work in our favor, not against us. Because they will be there, agents will be there, they are fact, they are reality. We cannot resist that. It is coming, but at least whenever it is already there, we should be the ones who are using it, not the customer. So learning about it, it's very important. And one very important thing is, thanks to AI and thanks to the technology, now even non-technical people can utilize this power, can understand about it, and can utilize it. Because right now we can say that, and that was a quote from one of the AI leaders. He said that we used to develop applications in assembly, and then we used to develop applications in the binary code in zeros and ones. The developers used to actually write zeros and ones, and then we have invented compilers. So we started writing something like English if condition and for loop. And now we are writing programs in prompts, in plain English. So getting attached to the technology, actually, it is now easier than ever. So it is not the time where the technical people start scared and pull back. It is actually where they need to get into that technology even more, inviting other non-technical people actually to use this power, because right now everyone can do lots of things. So it is a very good time. I think we are very lucky to see this emerge of technologies, and the only way to avoid the harmness or what we are scared of is to get into that deeper, not to walk away. Because if you walked away, the robot will be chasing you. Not
And it's
necessarily.
much
But
easier for them as well.
yeah, of course. That's right. That's right. It's easier than ever. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It has been a pleasure. Thank you.
Same here.
Thank you so much. Thanks.